Damn, Daniel. Back at it again with a fresh podcast.
You fuck with Breaking Bad at all?
Woo! We just took this party to fucking next level. That's very sexual too. What are you doing in the corner? Just smacking my ass together.
It scared me so bad I got a boner.
I am shocked by this air coming out of my ass.
I puke my guts out.
Is there a bomb dropping back there? Run, guys!
I'll hit an old man in public.
I am your fucking savior.
The Nerd Shed Podcast.
Hello, this is Nerd Shed Podcast. I am Matt. What's going on, everybody? Justin is not here today, so this is going to be one of the famous Matt-only episodes. So I believe last episode we said that this was going to be called Mattadelic whenever I do shows by myself. So welcome to the Mattadelic Podcast, I guess. I got some good stuff to talk to you guys about today. I know we've been missing for a couple weeks, you know, with Christmas and New Year's and all that kind of stuff. You know, the last couple weeks of the year is always a pretty chaotic time. It's just hard to make time to do everything you want to do. As always, you can go to our website, that's thenerdshedpodcast.net. We have a Facebook page. You can like us and follow us on there. We post new episodes there. We post memes. We post random stuff. I don't know. The Instagram kind of mirrors the Facebook. Whatever we post to Facebook gets posted to Instagram and vice versa. So you can follow us on Instagram if you want. And then there's the Twitter, which really isn't active, but you know, what the hell, if you're a Twitter person, go on there and just follow us and never see any tweets from us ever. And then there's the email address also. If you want to share anything with us or communicate with us in any way, do send an email to thenerdshedpodcast@gmail.com. And as always, if you are a fan of our podcast, we always just ask that just tell your friends about us. Try to grow the podcast a little bit. Be what's it called? An evangelist for us, you know, spread our message. Just get more people to listen to the podcast, and that way we can do more content for you guys. 1 second here. You know, I always say this every time I do an episode by myself. It's always kind of hard to, you know, I got the soundboard over here for sound effects. I'm trying to pull up the stories that I want to talk about. I'm trying to run the audio stuff. And then I'm just trying to talk into the microphone and keep a good pace for the show. And as always with my Matt-only episodes, I have no idea how long it's going to be. It could be 15 minutes. It could be the usual hour that we go. We'll just have to wait and see, because we are winging it, as they say. So let's just dive in here. Like I was saying, we just got through Christmas and New Year's, so I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a good Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it is you may have celebrated. I guess to encompass all that, that's why they say happy holidays. And happy New Year to everyone who's listening to this. I wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions a little bit, because I've never really understood the point of a New Year's resolution. Like, just because the calendar is changing from 2019 to 2020, that's when you decide that you want to make a change in your life. Because I've always been the type of person with the mentality of if you want to change something, just change it. It doesn't matter if it's going from 2019 to 2020, or from December to January, or from Wednesday to Thursday. Like, I feel like none of that matters. You know, the minute you decide you need to make a change, that's when you should start working towards making that change. You know, if you want to, the most common one is if you want to lose weight. You know, you'll always say, like, around Thanksgiving, you're like, oh man, I need to lose weight. That's going to be my New Year's resolution next year. And it's like, okay, it's the end of November. Why don't you I get that the holidays, that's the time where you eat a lot of food and it's hard to stick to your diet or whatever. But, if in November you're thinking, hey, I need to lose weight, why wait until January to try and lose that weight? Just, you can still enjoy that holiday food with your family or whatever, but don't eat 3 plates of it and then have a piece of cake and a piece of pie and a bowl of ice cream. Like, just have a normal amount of food, your holiday food, whatever. Like, I know a lot of people do like ham and potatoes and all that type of crap. So just portion control and you'll be fine throughout the holidays. But yeah, don't wait for a specific day or a specific time to make a change. If you want to make that change, just do it. And I know that that's way easier said than done. I've been wanting to get back to the gym and lose a little bit of weight for quite some time now. And to be honest, I haven't done it yet, just out of pure laziness. I cannot get motivated to go, but I know that it needs done. But I never said, hey, starting in the new year, what's the thing that everybody hashtags, new year, new me? Yeah, I've never done that. It's just, I've said out loud many times, probably since like the summer. So going on like 6 or 7 months now, I've been saying I need to get back to the gym. I need to start eating better. I need to lose some weight. I need to, get in better shape. And it just hasn't happened yet. And being totally transparent and honest with you guys, it's just because I am lazy. That's all there is to it. I cannot get motivated to go to the gym. When I get off work, I want to come home. I want to sit on the couch and I want to watch TV or play video games. And that's how I like to live my life. But also that's not healthy, that's not good, and that's why living that lifestyle makes you fat, because you're not doing anything active whatsoever. So we'll see what happens here. Obviously right now is not the time to get back into going to the gym, because I actually live right down the road from the gym that I have a membership to that I've been paying for every single month and have not used in like I know there was a streak like back in like March or April where I was going to the gym pretty consistently. But yeah, I don't think I've really used it since then. So that's just money that I'm burning. But yeah, January is not the time to get back into going to the gym, because that's when everybody does it. Like I was saying, I live right down the road from the gym, and I drove past it yesterday and this morning, and the parking lot is almost 100% completely full. Like, I may as well walk from my house to the gym, because it's going to be the equal walking distance of if I were to go there and try to find a parking spot. But yeah, during the night when the weather's nice, I actually do that. I do walk to the gym. It's about a 15-minute walk there, do my workout, 15-minute walk back. So it's almost like you're like warming up on the way there, doing that nice brisk walk. But anyway, that's enough of talking about the gym and getting in shape and, being on my soapbox here and telling you guys how I think you should be living your lives, because I know that's not really my place, but whatever. This is my podcast, and I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. But yeah, in keeping with that line, I promise, I know this is Nerd Shed Podcast. We talk about music, movies, video games, but then we also talk about random shit. If you've been here for the past 65 episodes, you know that there's no rhyme or reason to what we talk about. It just happens organically. So, but I promise after this next thing, we're going to talk about something else. And then we'll get into some music stuff and some movie stuff. I really don't have any video game stuff for this week. I honestly just threw this episode together. I wasn't sure if Justin was going to be here or not. He texted me this morning, so I literally just threw all these topics together probably about 15 minutes before even starting recording this. So, because that's how we do it here. We don't edit our podcast. We don't plan our podcast. It just sort of happens, and that's what makes it so good or so bad, depending on how you want to look at it. So speaking of the New Year's resolutions and going to the gym and eating better and all that stuff that I just said, last Saturday when we didn't do the podcast, and it's kind of good that we didn't do it because I ended up in the emergency room, which that's my first time ever experiencing that, and it is not fun at all, I can tell you that. Basically, without getting into too much boring detail, on the evening of Christmas, I started not feeling well. Thursday, I felt a little bit better. Friday was kind of in between what I was feeling on Christmas and what I was feeling on Thursday, and then Saturday, I'm pretty sure what happened is I just gave myself a full-blown anxiety attack and thought that I was going to die. Because after we left the emergency room and the physician in the emergency room told me that, all the tests that they did, everything looked okay and that I probably just needed some rest. After that, I not immediately started feeling better. Like, I'm still not feeling 100% normal. But yesterday, because I'm recording this podcast on last Saturday, so exactly a week ago, almost to the hour now, actually, is when I was on my way driving. I originally just wanted to go to the urgent care and talk to somebody. But they said that my symptoms that I was describing were too complex, so then they sent me to the emergency room to have someone there check me out. But yeah, so it had been a week ago, so that night, I think I was just, from all the stress and anxiety and everything, that Saturday night I didn't feel good, but then since Sunday, so over the past 6 days, every day I've felt a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And I honestly think that that's what happened is, like I was saying, I need to lose weight. I'm out of shape. All of my jeans are too tight, and I think from that tightness around my waist, I just caused some digestive issues, but it didn't present itself in normal digestive issue ways. Like, I didn't have any stomach pain or vomiting or shitting my brains out or anything like that. It was just severe acid reflux, basically, and I think it was caused by my jeans being too tight around my waist. But I've never really had a problem with heartburn or acid reflux before, and like I said, it was presenting itself in a weird way, and I really didn't notice the heartburn or acid reflux until after my trip to the emergency room. So I think that by not feeling well and not knowing what was wrong with me, my head was going to worst case scenario, and I was giving myself really bad stress and anxiety about the whole thing, and it just made it spiral out of control. But your boy's better now, so that's all that matters. And like I said, that's my first time ever being admitted into the emergency room, which kind of freaked me out because, like I said, I just went into the urgent care originally to talk to someone. Basically, that's kind of like just going to see your family doctor. Basically, like, you just, go into the little room and sit on the table. They ask you what's wrong. You tell them. They say, take 2 of these every day for the next week and you should feel better. But when you get sent down to the emergency room, basically, they have you put on a gown and bring in these machines, and they hook you up to all this shit, and it's almost like being admitted into the hospital. Like, so that when I'm going there, because I'm having bad anxiety and making everything worse, when they're having me, put on a gown and putting an IV into my arm and putting all these stickers on me to do an EKG and all this kind of stuff, like, that takes my anxiety, which was already at like an 8, and puts it to a full-blown 10 and freaks me the fuck out. So that was pretty intense. Yeah, and I think I've said it on the podcast before that, like, hospitals and medical stuff like that shit just automatically like freaks me out and gives me anxiety and stuff. So me being like on that side of it as the patient, like going through all that, like it was no fun at all. Yeah, and I wish that Justin was here, because this is like the cool story. It'd be cool to have a little back and forth about it and, you know, talk about it a little more in detail, but I'm just sort of spitballing all this, so. But yeah, that's how it's kind of been my past few times doing a solo episode by myself. I kind of just blow through stuff. I've been told I'm not the best at storytelling, not from anybody listening to the podcast or anything like that, just in my personal life, that I'm not good at telling stories. I go back and forth a lot, and it seems like it takes forever to get to the point. So on the podcast, I'm like consciously just trying to, you know, boom, 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 done. But yeah, like I said, I'm feeling a lot better now than I was last week. Still on the mend a little bit, I think, but like I said, most of this is like stress and anxiety, so it's kind of like getting over that mental hurdle of it all, I think. So I think as time goes on, like I'll think about it all less and less and less, and the symptoms will eventually subside. But yeah, I'm going to see our family doctor here pretty soon, and I'm going to tell them about all this and see what they think, because, you know, I'd rather, if it is like an underlying issue that's going to come back, I'd rather, you know, get ahead of that than to have like all this happen again and feel like shit for almost a week. So yeah, that's my story about the ER visit. Pretty crazy and pretty intense. Yeah, I don't know really what else to say about it, but I'm sure if you're listening to this and you've had that kind of experience, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't had that experience, I really hope that you don't, because it is not fun at all. So let's see what's next on the list here of shit to talk about. So the day after Christmas, Christmas Day is when the new Star Wars movie came out, I think. As I've said before on the podcast, I've never seen a minute of a Star Wars movie, so I don't know much about it. I get like a lot of the references, and I know who a lot of the characters are and stuff, just because it's like, you know, there's that culture of it, or however you want to say it. But yeah, I've never seen a Star Wars movie, so insert all the that I usually get when I tell people that. But shit, I have the wrong article pulled up here. Basically, the only reason why I bring up the Star Wars movie is the day after Christmas, because it came out on Christmas. So the day after, I was talking to someone, and they were like, oh yeah, I went to see the... Well, hold on. Let me preface this by saying, this person that I was talking to, they're a little bit... They're not like... I don't want to say they're older, and like, you think that they're a picture of they're an old man, but like, I think they're probably in their 40s. So they're older than me. Yeah, but they're in their 40s, and they were like, oh yeah, I went to see the new Star Wars movie last night. And I say, oh yeah, how was it? And they say, oh, it was pretty good, but maybe I'm old-fashioned, but there was a scene in it where two minor characters kiss, and they were both girls, and I feel like that really didn't need to be in the movie. And that's all they said about it. So like, I feel like they brought up the Star Wars movie not to talk about Star Wars or the movie or how the movie was. they brought up the Star Wars movie with the lesbian kissing scene in it to talk about how they don't like lesbian kissing scenes in movies. Which I don't understand how you could be living in at the time 2019, be living in the year 2019 and still have a problem with a lesbian kissing scene in a movie. Like, I guess I just don't understand that mentality. And like I said, I haven't seen the movie. I've never seen a Star Wars movie. I don't know what two characters kissed. He said that they were minor characters, that like a lot of time was never spent on them. But I looked this up and read about it. And first of all, if you type in Star Wars Rise of Skywalker controversy into Google, nothing about the lesbian kissing scene comes up at all. You have to type in Star Wars Rise of Skywalker kissing in order for stuff to come up. And the only stuff that comes up when you Google Star Wars Rise of Skywalker kissing, the only thing that comes up is how in Singapore, they don't like gay people there, I guess. So, I think like, gay marriage is banned over there or something like that. But in order for the movie to be rated PG-13 over there, they had to cut that kissing scene out of the movie. Otherwise, it would have been rated R, I believe. Just because they don't like gay people over there and don't want to encourage being gay or whatever. I don't know exactly. But that's all that comes up. There's nothing about like fans being outraged that there's a gay kissing scene or anything saying like, oh, Disney is just trying to cater to the LGBTQ community by putting a lesbian kissing scene in the new Star Wars movie or whatever. There's nothing about that. So I find it weird to bring up the new Star Wars movie just to say that, there was a gay kissing scene in it and I didn't like it. And from what I read about it too, the scene is literally like it's not even like a big thing. Like literally they kiss, like it's literally 2 seconds on the screen. Like they just kiss and then it's over. It's not like there was like a lesbian makeout scene that they spent like 2 minutes on or something like that. So it just kind of, it bothered me. Like, why? Like, especially like I get that there's still people out there who don't like gay people, who think that that's wrong or whatever. So, and that's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying that hold on, I'm getting my head all turned around here. I get that being 2020 now, there's people who don't like gay people, who don't support gay people's beliefs and all that kind of stuff. But by now, being alive for even people my age, like being 28 years old, you've seen gay people kiss how many times within the past, let's just call it even 30 years. In the past 30 years, how many gay kisses have you seen, not only in movies or on TV, but also in real life? Like it's part of society now, and you shouldn't let that bother you. If two people fall in love with each other, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman and a woman, or a man and a man. Like, if you find someone that loves you and treats you right, like, who cares? Like, if you see someone that's happy, you should be like, hey, that person is happy, good for them, because there's so many miserable fucking people. Like if you see someone with a genuine smile on their face and they happen to be holding hands with a person of the same gender, who cares? Don't make a big deal out of it, and don't go out of your way to bring up a movie just to talk about, I don't like seeing two women kiss on a movie screen. Like, and that too, like, he didn't even expand on it past that. Like, he said, I saw the new Star Wars movie last night. Oh yeah? How was it? It was pretty good, but call me old fashioned, but there was a scene where two minor characters who are both women, they kiss each other, and I felt like it was just really forced and didn't need to be part of the movie. And that was literally the conversation. Just that. Like, I don't even think I said anything more about it. I think I changed the topic just because I don't want to be like, really? Like, it bothered you that two women kissed for 1 second in a movie? That's your main takeaway from the movie, is that two women kissed for 1 second on the screen. Like, I'm not a Star Wars guy, but I feel like the conversation would have been more normal had he been like, yeah, it wasn't as good as The Last Jedi, but it was all right. Like, but yeah, whatever. I guess you're not gonna change people's minds about stuff like that, so kind of like beating a dead horse, I guess. Okay, so hold on. Sorry, guys. All right, so keeping up with the movie talk here. Netflix released their most watched stuff from 2019, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Hold on. Excuse me. So they released their top 10 most popular releases in 2019. So that's TV shows and movies together, just the top 10 most watched things on Netflix. Then they have it divided by the 10 most popular TV series releases and the 10 most popular movie releases. So overall on Netflix, the most watched stuff in 2019 was, we'll go from 10 to 1. So number 10 most watched thing on Netflix was The Highwaymen, which is I think it's that Bonnie and Clyde movie. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it's that movie about Bonnie and Clyde, or maybe it's like the guys that were trying to catch Bonnie and Clyde. I could be totally wrong. Whatever. Then 9 is The Umbrella Academy. 8, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, which is the Zac Efron thing about Ted Bundy. Then 7 is Triple Frontier, which I've honestly never heard of. Have no idea what it is. 6 is The Witcher, which is just gaining a lot of popularity. I feel like over the past month, people are starting to rant and rave about that show, which is based on the video game. The Irishman, which is Martin Scorsese's 3.5 hour long movie. Then 4 is The Incredibles 2. 3 is 6 Underground, which I think is that Ryan Reynolds show. It's brand new, it's a movie. Yeah, that's brand new. 2, Stranger Things season 3, and then number 1, which is really weird and surprising, is Murder Mystery, which is that Adam Sandler Jennifer Aniston movie that's on there. That's actually pretty decent. It's like a whodunit type thing. So then they break it down even further. So TV series, 10 is Raising Dion. I don't know what that is. 9 is 13 Reasons Why. 8 is Sex Education. 7, Unbelievable. 6, When They See Us. Number 5 is You Season 2, which that's pretty impressive because that came out the day after Christmas and it was, most watched in 2019. Number 5, that's wild. Dead to Me, that actually looks pretty good. I haven't watched it. 3, The Umbrella Academy. 2, The Witcher. And number 1, Stranger Things Season 3. And now, last but not least, the most popular movies on Netflix of 2019. 10, Secret Obsession. Never heard of it. 9, Wreck-It Ralph 2. 8, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is actually pretty decent if you like Spider-Man. 7, The Highwaymen. 6, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile. 5, Triple Frontier. Still have no idea what that is. 4, The Irishman. 3, The Incredibles 2. Number 2, 6 Underground. And then number 1, like I said before, Murder Mystery, which is the most watched thing on Netflix in 2019, which to me is crazy. Yeah, I don't know, like, it's that Murder Mystery movie, like I said, it's good, but like everyone knows Adam Sandler, like his prime was like Waterboy, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, Mr. Deeds, like that, like when those movies were around, like he was fucking crushing it. Like everyone loved Adam Sandler movies during that time. But ever since then, like he's kind of, like I feel like he went away for a while, Adam Sandler did. And then like over the past 10 years or so, he's been trying to make a comeback. But like everything's just sort of fallen flat. But I have heard that Uncut Gems movie that he's in is really, really good, and I want to go see it. The only other serious role I've ever really seen Adam Sandler play is there's a movie on Netflix called The Cobbler, where he's like a shoe repair guy. I honestly, I watched this a long time ago, so I don't even remember a lot of details about it, but I do remember that it was more of a serious role for him, and that it was actually not half bad. So that Uncut Gems movie, I'm gonna have to check that out and then let you guys know how it is, because just from the previews, it looks pretty solid. Yeah, I like that too, when comedians take more serious roles, because it lets you see another side of them. Like Chris D'Elia, who I really, really like. I think he's a funny guy. He's in That You Show, the second season on Netflix. And I tried to watch the first, I watched the first season of You, and like the first 2 or 3 episodes, like I was hooked. I was like, oh, this show is really, really good. It has like a Dexter vibe to it, kind of. But then I feel like it just drug out, and then like the way it ended, you were just kind of like, oh, okay, that's it. One of those type of things. But then season 2, I found out Chris D'Elia's in it, and I want to see him, in a more serious role, because I've only ever seen him do a stand-up comedy or, be goofy on his podcast. So I want to see him in that, and then he's going to be in a zombie movie that's coming out on Netflix here pretty soon. So I think that'll be cool. But back to talking about You. I tried to watch the first episode of season 2, and it's just so slow. Like, I think the episodes are like an hour, or like, 48 to 55 minutes or something like that. And I was 35 minutes into the first episode, and I feel like nothing had really happened. Like, they spent 35 minutes just showing, like, okay, this dude moved across the country because people are looking for him because they think that he might have had something to do with these people going missing. So, you know, he moved across the country and created a new identity and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like showing him like settling into this new life. But he's having these urges to go back to doing what he used to do. So he's trying to fight those urges, and it's like 35 to 40 minutes of just that. And it's like, okay, you could have spent 15 to 20 minutes on that and then, you know, have something happen that's going to interest me. But like I said, I'm going to try and watch it just because I do want to see Crystal Lee in the more serious role. And I've heard that season 2 is better than season 1. So I'm going to try and make it through it, force myself to watch it. You know, maybe here in a couple weeks I'll do a review of that and let you guys know what I think. Was it the same as season 1 to where it's like, okay, it's kind of good but really drawn out, or is it actually better? Jeez, I've been going on for 36 minutes already. So last Friday, Bring Me the Horizon, the band, put out an EP like without telling anybody about it. I guess they just sort of like were like, oh, here's this music, and put it out. Hold on. So it's an EP called, and this is not a joke, this is what the EP is called: Music to Listen to, Dance to, Blaze to, Pray to, Feed to, Sleep to, Talk to, Grind to, Trip to, Breathe to, Help to, Hurt to, Scroll to, Roll to, Love to, Hate to, Learn to, Plot to, Play to, Be to, Feel to, Breed to, Sweat to, Dream to, Hide to, Live to, Die to, Go to. That's the actual title of the EP. And it has 8 songs on it, and it's an hour and 15 minutes long. So 8 songs, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Most bands put out like a 12-song record that's 40 minutes. So, like the first song is 10 minutes long. Second one's 7 minutes long. Then you have a 4-minute, 40-second long song at track 3. Track 5 is 5 minutes, or track 4 is 5 minutes long. Track 5 is 24 minutes and 5 seconds long. We'll come back to that one in a minute. Track 6 is 6 minutes long. Track 7 is 10 minutes long, and then track 8 is 7 minutes long. So, I've listened through the EP over the past week like 2 or 3 times. And it's different. Like, I feel like it's kind of interesting they put this out because their album that they released at the beginning of last year called Ammo was a really big success for them because it was poppy, dancey, electronic-y, but still had some rock and metal elements thrown in there. And it was good. It was like new and refreshing to listen to. I really liked that album. Actually, because of how much I like that album, when I did my Spotify year wrapped or whatever, Bring Me the Horizon was my number 1 listened to artist, and I think like 2 or 3 of their songs were like my most listened to songs of the year or something like that. But yeah, it was a really good album. So what I was saying is that's a really good album, and they had a lot of success with it and probably found a lot of new fans. Because if you don't know the history of Bring Me the Horizon, they started out as a deathcore band, like a really, really hard heavy metal band. And then they've gone through this weird evolution. Like their first couple albums were pretty heavy, and then they went to more of like a metalcore sound, to where it was a little bit like, it wasn't just heavy, like there were some melodic sections, and then they eventually introduced singing into their music, and then it goes from being like metalcore into like almost like radio rock, which is still very good, but then with their latest album they went like radio rock, but then threw in like some pop and electronic and dance tracks into it. So they've kind of just they've never stuck to one thing. They're always changing their sound and evolving, which a lot of people like, a lot of people hate. And I feel like with that popular new album that they're going to reach more fans with, those fans are going to listen to this. And this EP that they released is very experimental in a way, because there's a lot of sampling, and it's not like normal song structure. It's not like a beat with a verse and a chorus and then a verse and then a chorus. Like it's definitely not like radio friendly or anything like that. It's very ambient and experimental, and like I said, there's a lot of sampling. There's no really like singing or hooks or anything to any of the songs. Like there are vocal parts. They do have the 4-track album features Halsey, the pop singer, but literally that song's 5 minutes long, and Halsey's part in it is literally just like 8 lines of singing that they just repeat a few times throughout that 5 minutes. And then like the 5th song, the one that I said we'd come back to, the one that's 24 minutes long, it's weird because it starts out, they have a rapper featured on it, so it's kind of like a rap beat that they made, and then this guy, spits some bars over it, but then like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes into the rap beat, it just cuts, and then like this heavy metal guitar starts playing, and then like the band comes in, and it's like almost like a metal track, and then a dude comes in and starts screaming over it. So then that's, I don't know, it's about, I don't remember exactly how long it is, but like there's like that rap part and then the metal part, and then it just cuts, and then there's this sample that just loops for literally 15 minutes. Maybe even longer than that. I don't know. I didn't time it out fully, but there's just this like glitchy, cool sample thing that just goes on, and they just have it repeat over and over for at least 15 minutes. And it's like, I kind of feel like that's almost like a troll in a way, because you're just like waiting for something to happen and it never does. But yeah, like a lot of the songs are kind of like that though, to where it's like different song ideas put together. Like they'll have like almost like a dance beat thing going to like almost more like a I don't know how to describe it, but they'll have like a dance beat going to like this like orchestral thing or something like that, and then like come back to the dance beat in a cool way. Like it's very experimental, and like I said, it's very like sample heavy and all these different ideas coming together. Not everyone's gonna like it, so I'm kind of interested to see. I haven't really read any reviews about it, but yeah, like I said, I don't think the people that liked Ammo are really gonna like. I don't think the people that discovered Bring Me the Horizon through their album Ammo are gonna like see that this EP got released and then listen to it and be like, "Oh, this was really good." They're gonna be like, "Wow, this is weird. What the fuck?" But even me, like, I really can't decide how I feel about it, and I love I love like ambient music, like music that you can just like put on in the background and vibe to, that you really don't have to like pay attention to. I mean, that sounds bad, but just something that you can just put on and just have in the background and then just like think about stuff. Or like when I was in college, I liked to just throw on ambient tracks like that, and then I would draw. But like it was like music that wouldn't distract me or like pull my focus away from what I was doing. It just like put me in the mood to keep my head down and go. And I feel like that's kind of what this is. It's not really, like they say, like it's music to do stuff too. Like you can listen to it, but then you can also breathe to it, you know, if you want. You can put it on while you're sleeping, you can dream to it, you can die to it if you so choose. You can use it to pray, you can use it to dance. Like basically that's what I said, it's music that you can do whatever you want with it, which I feel like is pretty cool, but I don't know how people are going to feel about it. All right, and then last thing that we're going to talk about today is something really fucked up that I wish Justin was here because I want his reaction to it, and his thoughts on it. And, you know, we'll follow up with him whenever he comes back, but hold on one second. All right, so Gene Simmons, who, if you don't know who Gene Simmons is, he is the bass player and vocalist of the band Kiss. If you don't know who Kiss is, you are probably less than 20 years old. So he posted on his Twitter on January 2nd, so 2 days ago, he posted on Twitter 2 pictures, and I'm going to describe this to you. It is a bowl of cereal, but it's not just a regular bowl of cereal. It is, so it's a white bowl, like a white ceramic bowl, like a regular cereal bowl. Or it might be plastic. I don't know. It's either ceramic or plastic, but it's a white bowl. And then there's the Oreo cereal, you know, the little chocolate Cheerio looking thingies. Or it might even be chocolate Cheerios. I don't know. I can't see the box. But it's either the Oreos cereal or chocolate Cheerios. It's just little chocolate circles. But then there's some frosted shredded wheat pieces also mixed in with the chocolate Cheerios. That's not the fucked up part. That actually might be good. I don't know. Like, maybe he's just trying to get a little bit more fiber or something. And then there's the milk and the spoon in the bowl also. So, somewhat normal. A little bit weird, mixing a chocolate cereal with frosted shredded wheat. I don't know. Maybe the guy's a genius. Maybe that's the best thing ever. I don't know. I've never been one to mix cereals together. But the weird part is there are ice cubes floating in the bowl of cereal. And the caption to the picture that he posted on Twitter is, "Anyone else put ice cubes in their cereal?" ? My question is, what purpose do the ice cubes serve? Because the milk's already cold, right? And if you want your milk colder than the temperature it is, just change the temperature of your refrigerator to make the milk colder. Because right now what you're doing is you're just watering down the milk. And like, the ice cubes, they're not going to melt that fast because the milk's cold. So if he does eat all the cereal, First of all, he has to like wrestle around the ice cubes to scoop the cereal up with the spoon. But then, after he eats all the cereal, he just has these ice cubes floating in the milk. And then he's going to drink the milk, and it's going to be really cold and give him a brain freeze. But then after the milk's gone, he's just going to have ice cubes in the bowl. So then, his brother replied to the tweet. Gene Simmons' brother replied to the tweet and said, 30 years of watching him do this. This is my life. So, like, this isn't a thing that he just discovered. This is something that's been going on for a long-ass time. And I don't understand it. Yeah, in this article, though, there's no responses to there's not like the Twitter feed that shows some of the replies. I'm sure that some of those are pretty good. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, so this person replied to Gene Simmons' picture and says, why not just freeze the milk in an ice tray and use that so it won't get watered down? I do this with coffee. Okay, so this person that replied is smart, because what they're saying is to take the milk, pour it into the ice tray, and freeze it so you have frozen milk, so that when you drop the frozen milk into the regular milk, it's not going to change the flavor. That's pretty fucking smart. And she does that with coffee. So what she's saying, she probably brews coffee, lets it get down to like room temperature, pours it into ice trays, and then freezes it so that she's just, to cool her coffee off in the morning and make it a drinkable temperature, she just drops frozen coffee into the hot coffee and it cools down, but without changing the flavor. Okay, so this person replies to it and says, I'm an actual person and I've been doing this for 35 years. Okay, and so someone replies to this guy and says, why? Just curious, no judgment. To this actual person that says I've been doing it for 35 years. And he says, lukewarm milk tastes gross. When I was 5 years old, I decided that if I was going to eat cereal, the milk has to be ice cold, and I've never looked back. Why is your milk lukewarm for your cereal? And if you have time from when you pour your bowl of cereal until you're done for the milk to get warm, you're simply not eating your food fast enough. Because the time it would take from the milk being cold, like refrigerator temperature, to room temperature is, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes. And who's taking 15 to 20 minutes to eat a bowl of cereal? Yeah, see, and then there's someone here who says, why don't you start living in 2020, Gene, and shows pictures of milk frozen in an ice cube tray. Yeah, this is just a mind-blowing thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like your milk doesn't need to be that cold. But then there's people on here saying, like, I don't do this, but I put ice cubes in my glass of milk. And it's like, even that I don't get. Like, why do you need your milk that cold? I don't understand. I don't, like, if you need your milk super cold, can you email into the podcast and explain to me why you need your milk that cold, because I feel like a refrigerator temperature milk is perfectly fine. So, but yeah, that's all I have. If you have any thoughts on the Bring Me the Horizon EP, or the Kiss in Star Wars, or Gene Simmons putting ice in his cereal, or anything else we talked about on the show, maybe you have a cool emergency room visit story. I don't know. I feel like those don't go together. You can't have a cool emergency room story, like maybe unless like Hugh Laurie was your actual doctor in the emergency room or something. That might be cool, but if you guys don't get that reference, that's the guy that played House, the doctor on the show. But yeah, if you have any thoughts of anything we talked about on the podcast today, email thenerdshedpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to like our Facebook page. You can visit our website, nerdshed.net. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. There won't be any Nerdshed TV this week, just because I feel like it's weird to film myself here talking. And also, I didn't talk about anything really visual. It would have been cool to like post that picture of Gene Simmons ice cubes in his cereal, but I'm sure you can just Google that if you want to see it that bad. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you for just being a fan of the Nerd Shed podcast. That's it for this week. We'll talk to you guys next week. All right. Bye.